For the pledge, please. Gary, would you lead us in the pledge? Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Here.
Amber Brown.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Joe Michoto.
Here.
William Harper.
Here.
Renee Curtis.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
You have with you the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes?
I move that be approved.
I have a motion that be approved. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. They are approved. The first item we have on our agenda is a request by Gina Miller, who is requesting special exemption approval for a home-based business. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-34 involves a location off of Newman Road. Ms. Miller is requesting special exception approval for the establishment of a major home-based business involving interior carpentry upon a property located in the RM zoning district. And Ms. Miller is going to purchase 7 acres of this 40-acre tract to build her future home. And she would like to also build a 5,000 square foot shop for her business, which involves interior carpentry. We considered an application earlier this year off of Stewart's Creek Road, and Ms. Miller was successful. However, that site didn't work out, and so she went out on the hunt for another home site. And if this one works out, then I'm sure she will proceed. This is the surrounding area. Ms. Miller indicated that they're looking to find additional soil sites, and depending on where the soils would be, she indicated on the map that this is the location of the 7 acres that they will be purchasing from the property. The shop would be located towards the road, but it would be 130 feet off the road. Ms. Miller's indicated that a lot of the vegetation would remain, and the house would be set back further off of the road. We found that the application met the conditions for a home-based business. Her hours will be Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5 p.m. She will store 5 vehicles at the site, so that is slightly more than what the home-based business regulations allow for. However, she was approved for 5 vehicles at the Stewart's Creek site. And that concludes our presentation.
Okay. Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please, to the podium. Give us your name and any additional information you'd like to share with the board, and there may be some questions.
I'm Gina Miller, and she pretty much said everything. I'm not sure if I'm even going to buy it because it needs a drip septic system put on here, and I'm still in limbo to see whether or not that works. And it has to perk for 4 bedrooms. So whenever the soil group finishes their
Yeah,
their
talk
work.
into the microphone. It's really, acoustics are not real good here.
Okay. Got it? That better? Yeah. So I'm just waiting on the soil group to finish their stuff. If not, I'll be back.
Any questions?
You don't have to.
ask, if she wasn't sure she was going to buy it, do we need to delay this for a month until she gets her information? What do you think, Danielle?
Well, Ms. Miller and I have been speaking for over a year. She has been looking for a site to support both a home-based business and her home. The delaying the application, we're just considering this site. It wouldn't benefit her to delay it at all. I mean,
We could, okay, I'll talk to that.
because if she finds another site, we'll have to go through this process again, so.
And it might be 4 to 6 months. He doesn't know when it comes to the soul thing. They're really busy, so it's just.
Any other
up to
questions?
them.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
I got a question for Danielle. Okay. Danielle, if we approve it and she doesn't buy the land, does the approval stay with the land?
It would.
Well,
That's-
that was exactly.
That was the question I wanted.
And that would have been the case with the prior
Okay.
request.
That was my
I-
question
Can we-
before.
I know in the past that they were able to terminate and that the approval would not transfer, but I don't think that, we've been advised that the conditional uses or special exceptions stay with the land forever, so.
Well, we have on this board approved one, and there'd be 3 or 4 that had already been approved, and let those elapse to the newest. But we can put a condition, if she doesn't buy the property, then it's null and void. I mean, we can't just go approving 6 places until they find what they want.
I understand.
I guess
Sorry.
my question is going to be to the legal here.
Right.
Is if we approve it and she doesn't buy the land, can we put a stipulation on there that it's only for her and it doesn't go with the land if she doesn't purchase the land?
Yeah, I've never gotten that question before. I'm happy to look into that. If there's no prejudice to the applicant, and she says that there's not, because she's got some time to spare, this could be deferred if she's in agreement with it, so that we can figure that out. And if the law is that you can't act on this because she doesn't own it, then I'll tell you that. If the law would allow you to grant the exception contingent upon her owning it, we can do that. Or if the law is it doesn't matter, you can go ahead and grant it regardless if she owns it, I'll tell you that.
We have before where someone wants to build a house after another structure's there, and they have to build that house start that house within a year. We've done that. It would kind of be the same deal. If they don't do it within a year, it goes away.
We have gotten away from including that condition in our reports because of just that.
Go ahead
Since
and...
2013, we've been
Okay,
told.
excuse me for breaking in here. Go ahead and make your motion.
Oh.
And if you want, whatever you want to put in that motion, I can approve that.
Just keep in mind, it's an interior carpentry company. I mean, it's 5,000 square foot shop. I mean, it would be specific to that particular use. If someone wanted to come in and request, home-based businesses are very unique to the business itself. It's not like asking for a church in the RM zone and another church can come in. It's very specific to that particular one. So if there's any kind of change in the conditions of a future request for home-based business, if someone were to purchase it, then they would have to come before you again.
Usually
make
when you
sense?
have this, you have the homeowner that comes here, or the property owner that comes here and makes this request. So if you want to put a stipulation in there that you're talking about, you can do that.
I would make a motion to defer until we hear what he's got to say.
Second.
Okay.
And that goes back to my question. I'm assuming she's the one, instead of the property owner, that's filed for application, paid for the application, correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
The lady that was just before us, is she the one that paid for the application to come before the BZA, or did the homeowner do it?
Oh, she applied, she paid for the application. She supplied a letter of attorney effect, which allowed her to apply on the owner's behalf.
That's what I was going to ask Danielle, is under our regulations, what does it specify on who the applicant can be? And if our regulations permit an attorney in fact who's been given the authority from the owner, that probably cures the issue there.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
We have a second. Referred to you.
Was it deferred for a month for me to look at the question?
For next month till you research the question and get back. Is that okay?
Yeah, you need to vote on the
You
motion
can
then.
handle that?
I can handle that.
Okay.
The motion is deferred for him to look
Yeah.
and find out if she
I
doesn't buy the
second it.
property, can we put the condition on it that it's null and void?
Okay. My opinion is that you can do that, okay? But we'll go for his.
But going back to my question, really and truly, with her having the owner's authority to, the owner's actually applying, correct?
It would be as if she is given power of attorney to the person to make the decision on behalf of whoever owns that property, which currently is not her, it's the other owner. So conceivably, the current owner of the property could run a major home-based business based on the approval under the specifications of the application now. Once it's sold to her, she could also do it because it runs with the land. So that's why I was saying the issue might be moot based on Danielle's suggestion that it's via a power of attorney.
My point exactly.
So if you want me to continue looking at it, I can, or you can just approve it as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion, second on the floor. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
No.
Amber Buchanan. Brown. Joe Machoto.
Yes?
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis. Yes. Dane Cantrell.
Yes. Okay, the next item of business is a request for Fernando Hernandez, and this is a request for a major home business auto repair. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-35 involves a property located at 1667 Mount Herman Road. It's a request for special exception approval for the establishment of a major home-based business involving auto repair upon a property located in the RM zone. And this is the site location. Mr. Hernandez would like to operate a tire shop from his home. He is proposing business days of operation 7 days per week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Staff has gone over the major home-based business conditions, and Mr. Hernando has indicated that he would be able to comply with those conditions should he be approved. This is the surrounding area. As you saw from the aerial, there is a junkyard across the street. There is a concern that staff has that there is an unpermitted structure on the property, and so any approvals tonight, you can condition that he obtain a building permit for the structure. Regardless, a permit for the structure needs to be obtained by the applicant, whether he gets approved or not, but you can include it in his conditions. And I know that there were some concerns regarding business hours, and that's something that the board can condition. Okay, so this is the aerial of the site. He plans to utilize this front area and the structure. So I would like to ask the applicant for clarification as to exactly which structure will be utilized. The structure that's shown on our aerials or the structure that's been built without a permit. Apart from that, we found that it met the conditions for a major home-based business, and that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you come around, please. Welcome, talk into the microphone, give us
I'm
your
here.
name and any additional information you want to share with the board.
Okay, my name is Dimitri, and I'm here to translate for Mr. Hernandez. ¿Quién déjame decirle su nombre?
Oh, mi nombre es Fernando Hernández. Estoy para servirles. Gracias.
He owns a tire, not own a tire shop, he rents a tire shop right now. Been there for like 10 years, but with the rent increase and with the tax going up, they put it on him and it's just too much. He's not getting the revenues like he's supposed to be to maintain that. So he just wants a little small shop to his house. So we just do a little tire change, that's all it is. Little small one, just like.
Where's his location at now?
It's on West College Street. Ferry Brothers owns it.
Where? I'm sorry.
1105G West College Street. So he's been there for like going on 10 years, but with the property, every year his rent keeps going up. And it's like, nowadays, like with the tax increase, they're passing it on to him, and it's just too much for him to handle.
Would you please put up the picture of the house again? Would you ask Mr. Hernandez, where is he going to do his work? Is it going to be in the open portion of the front of that house?
No, it's right there on the side, that little, right there, yes, right there is going to be his little shop.
So none of his work is going to be visible from the road?
No, none of it's going to be visible from the road. The only thing that's going to be visible is right in front of there is just like a little concrete where he's going to put the cars there to lift it up, take the tires out, and everything's going to be inside. There's nothing outside.
So the cars will be lifted outside?
Yes, by jack, just car jack. I mean, just like. Not a permanent? No, not permanent, no. Not permanent, just
Thank
like
you.
little car jack.
Joe?
So this is just a tire shop?
It's just a tire shop and little mufflers, like you fix a muffler.
Yeah, small repairs.
Yeah, small repairs, nothing major, no motor changing or.
I guess
What is that?
the other question I have is 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Well, it's off his residence. It's like if somebody comes to his house and it's like, hey, will you change a tire? Is that kind? It's not like he's gonna promote it 7 days a week, but it's like it's always gonna be like he said, from 8 to 8. If it's slow, he just might close it down. So it's just like you say, somebody comes in for a little tire change. That's all. That's what he wants to do.
About how many vehicles will be on property at one time?
¿Qué tantos carros tienes allá?
¿En mi casa?
Sí.
¿Mío? Como unos 4, yo creo.
Just 4 cars, it's personal cars, and one for the, it's 4 cars total. It's his wife, his son, his personal, and then his company one.
So not including the personal ones for himself, like what the business will have on.
Oh,
the
just one.
customers.
Just
one.
well, the customers is like, no overnight or nothing, then it's gonna stay like no more than an hour to change a tire, you know, it's not like it's gonna be a nuisance, just
Right.
sitting there, just come in, change a tire, and then continue.
Are there additional employees?
No,
outside of
just him by himself. It's just him by himself, just a little small business, all it is. That's what
Where
he's
will
doing.
you store the tires and like the new inventory? Is it all new inventory or are you
No,
doing
it's used
retreads?
tires. It's just
tires?
used tires, that's all it is, just used tires.
Where would that be stored?
¿Y no le va cómo se agarra las llantas o no va a poner las llantas?
Voy a rentar todas las botellas y para ponerlas.
He wants to occupy a storage to store the tires in. Like
Off-site?
off-site, no, on-site, but behind there, because he has all that acre back there, just
So he's
right
going
next
to build
to.
another building?
No, it's just like a container, a storage container. Just, there's no extra building, none, just like, we just wheel it in there.
How do you
So-
dispose of the tires that they're getting rid of?
Oh, he does that already. He takes it to the place. He pays like $1 a tire to dispose of them. So he
How
does.
many will be collected and stored until he gets enough up to go to get stored, to get rid of?
To get rid of.
Yeah.
Como, ¿qué tanto llantas antes que la vas a la tiras? ¿O vas a tener ahí?
Hoy las tiro con unas 60, 70 llantas. Mira,
He's about, he builds up to like 50.
Where would those be stored on
Y
the
no,
property?
yo no sé si los 50, ¿dónde lo vas a poner antes que lo tires?
Hay una trailería. Puede tener una
Ese-
trailita yo.
He said on a trailer, on a little trailer. Yes.
Is that going to be visible?
No, no, it's not.
Is
No.
that going to be visible from the street?
No. The only thing that's gonna be visible is, like you said, just the cars. And that's right there. That's the only thing gonna be visible from the street is just the cars. Because there's shops on the side, and it's like right there, and it's like everything's like right behind there. Nothing's like. And it's like, ¿qué tanto pesas son te la calle?
Es 20 por 33.
Gary, did you have?
No, te la.
Yes. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say 50 tires in storage?
Before he disposes of them. Before he goes to dispose of them.
Before he disposes of them, there's going to be 50 of them before he...
Pretty much, it's like between 30, because you don't want to take one tire just to go dispose of it. He likes to like accumulate, like build up.
All
Before.
right, but how much stock of used tires is he going to be selling in addition to that?
Oh, ¿qué tanto llantas vas a poner? ¿Vas a tener antes? Que no se tira.
Oh, que no va a tirar.
Sí. ¿Qué vas a
Pueden ser
historia?
unas 400, 300.
It's about 300.
300.
Yeah, it's just going to be in a storage unit. It's just like,
No, pero que voy a tener para vender ahí.
yeah,
Yo voy a tener para vender.
sí.
De esas.
Two sale. He said two sale.
There's going to be a total of 300 and roughly 340 tires behind this location right here in storage.
And pretty much, yes, but it's not like, it's going to be in the storage. It's not like it's just going to be piled up. He's going to buy a storage unit, like a little thing so where you can store them in there. They're not going to be outside.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things I'm concerned about, do you live on site with him?
No, I don't. I do not live outside. I
Okay.
live.
I'm not sure what's being lost in translation. There's strict requirements that he has to be made if this is approved.
Yes.
Okay? And he's got to know what these are. So somebody needs to be there with him to guide that if it is approved. Okay?
Yes, I heard
Okay,
about it.
we'll, thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I think with the information that I just heard, with 340 roughly tires stored back there, first of all, that's a safety hazard with that much accelerant back there, and it's an eyesore for one. I make a motion that we deny the request.
It could be a fire hazard, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a motion be denied.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Amber Brown, Joe Machado,
Yes?
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item of business is the Believer's Chapel. And we have a special exemption approval allowed for this. It's a community assembly. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-36, Believers Faith Fellowship is requesting special exception approval to allow the establishment of a community assembly facility with a maximum occupancy of 150 to 500 persons on a property located in the RM zone. And the property is located at 1322 Church Street, and they are proposing to combine these two lots and establish a 12,000 square foot facility with parking on this particular site. Their existing church is located at 1293 Church Street, and there's an off-site parking area across the street from their current location. The church will still utilize these existing buildings and parking areas. However, they will go through site plan review, and they're currently going through site plan review, and construct 2 driveways onto Church Street with the main sanctuary located in this area and parking, surrounding parking. surrounding the proposed building. Because of the current church's occupancy, they are going into another size or class of community assembly, and that is why they're before you today for special exception approval. This would allow them to grow, have their attendance grow, and provide for a newer facility. We found that the request met the criteria for special exception approval. These are photos of the surrounding area and the current site. We have received some calls with some concerns about the sidewalk that will lead from the off-site parking area to the main site. These are issues that can be resolved during site plan review. I do believe that that was one of the questions. We asked for additional information on that sidewalk. And that concludes our presentation.
Hey, do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please. You'll give us your name and any additional information you want to share with the board.
My name is Nathan Melson. I'm with Civil Infrastructure Associates. I am the civil engineer representing the church. I also have Jason Scales, who is the pastor, and Eric Dill, who would be the site contractor. So the site is, of course, located just down the street from their existing building. The whole property is about 5 acres. We are providing more than an adequate parking than what is required in the zoning ordinance. Of course, on-site stormwater management and on-site sewer will be provided via septic. If there's any other questions that...
Any questions? Renee?
Septic, how will that work for a building this large?
It'll be a specialized drip system, but I mean it's similar to what you would find on a typical home. It's just going to be a little bit larger.
And where would that be located on the?
So if you looking on the site plan now, it would be located below or to the plan south of the building. So between Highway 269 or Christiana Road and the building.
If you look on this one, you can see it there.
Oh, yeah.
Will there be fencing around it, landscaping?
Well, I mean, it'll be septic. There won't be any fencing around the septic.
Nothing exposed?
No, nothing will be exposed.
And what about any prior things that's underneath there from the school system that was there before, the old building?
They will be demolishing. Right now, there's simply a foundation and a couple short foundation walls that are still left. Of course, all that will be demolished and permitted accordingly. And anything else that is found on site will be demolished and either hauled off to landfill or what is required to be done.
Have what the building itself is going to look like?
Not on me at this moment. It is going to be a one-story building with 2 entrances to the west and to the south, so one facing Christiana Road. It will have, it's going to be a prefabricated metal siding building with, of course, the facades will be dressed up and the entrances will be nicer, and there'll be a sign on the south side facing Christiana Road.
Give us an example of some other structure that's in the area that's similar to this.
I can't think of it.
There's a couple churches on 231 that would be similar. There's a Korean church. It'd be similar to that. The roof line may be just a little bit different. He was wanting it a little more modern.
And Jason, do you feel like this is going to be suitable, the area? I mean, because you've done great things with the church that you took over before. It's wonderful. And the inside too, so.
Yeah. And when you walk in the building, we'll have a vestibule, which we don't have now. You walk into the front door of the sanctuary now. About 280 seats, and then we'll have children's classes there as well.
Okay. And what are you going to do with the other buildings? that you
We'll
own?
keep it now. We'll still have offices in there, and we won't build a kitchen or anything like that till we have our fellowship hall still in that building because it's got a basement.
Right,
And then we'll
right.
still use it for meetings and different things like that.
So offices, meetings.
Yeah.
And then don't you own the one to the side, the one with the probably youth stuff?
Yeah, there's a youth building there now. It's going to come down. We'll take that down. And right beside our church, there's a house that we own as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's the old parsonage for the church? Is that
Yeah,
you own
yeah.
that one? You own that one now?
Yeah.
Okay.
right to the left of the building. Yes,
And you're going to keep existing parking across the street from the existing church?
absolutely, yes.
Because that looks really nice. You keep it blacktopped and everything looks nice.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll have a public hearing now. Anyone who'd like to speak on this? Close the public hearing. Is there any further discussion? Have a motion on it?
I move to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Do we have a second? Second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Amber Brown.
Yes.
Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis. Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Next item is request by Leonard Coletta, and they are requesting a special exemption approval for an accessory structure. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-37 involves the property at 1016 Hamlet Drive. Mr. Saletti is requesting special exception approval for an accessory dwelling unit that does not meet the standards for ADUs, involving a property located in the RM medium density zoning district with a previously approved planned residential development overlay. And so the property is located in the Muirwood subdivision, and Mr. Saletti is proposing to build an addition to his home site to accommodate an additional dwelling for a family member. Mr. Saletti has consulted with the Homeowners Association and provided them with the drawings and the plans, and he has received approval according to an email that was provided with the application. And the reason he's coming before you is because he's less than an acre, and that automatically requires special exception approval when someone wants to add an accessory dwelling unit to their property. We have heard some concerns regarding the accessory dwelling unit and the impact that it might have on the neighborhood, and resulting in additional ADUs being requested. But in this case, in the subdivision, I doubt there are any properties greater than an acre, and we would be looking at it by case basis because all of the lots are less than 1 acre. So this is the side yard that the accessory dwelling unit will be constructed. There is a 15-foot drainage easement that the applicant is aware of, and they have designed it to stay out of that easement. This is the principal structure. The applicant will reside in the principal structure. This is the surrounding neighborhood. And we found that that the request met the criteria for special exception. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you come around, please. Give us your name and any additional information you might have.
Hi, my name is Leonard Sleddy. This is my wife, Nikki Sleddy. She's going to help represent us tonight. The proposal is it's for my mother-in-law who moved in with us recently. She has leukemia, and she got diagnosed last year with lung cancer, and she had a third of her lung removed in January, and she had lived in Boise, Idaho, and came out to live with us so that we could help take care of her. She had a couple ribs that had to be removed and things like that. Our current residence, We don't have any bedrooms on the first floor for her, so she has to go up and downstairs and those sort of things. And she still gets around fairly well, but she needs to have her own kind of personal and private space and things like that. One of our neighbors in our neighborhood, he actually had a mother-in-law suite built onto his house, and we went through it and thought it was a great idea. I do have a copy of his permit that was approved for that as well. So essentially what we would like to be able to give her is her own bedroom, her own living quarters, and a small kitchen and bathroom for her to be able to have her own space, but yet still be in close proximity with us so that we are able to take care of her and those sort of things. Based on kind of her retirement income and things like that, for her to live in a senior living place just isn't affordable for her based on what she receives from Social Security. So we'd like to be able to help her out, build this additional structure. It is attached to our house. It's going to have the same exact brick. We are all brick, so it will be all brick. It's going to blend. Everything will have the same colors as what we do. It connects internally to our house, so it's not going to be an apartment or anything like that. She will walk through into our family room and things like that. So we want to be able to give her own space so she can have it, but still have the presence of having her there to be able to take care of her and those sort of things.
Any questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Have a second?
With the special exception that in the zoning ordinance.
You second? Bill?
That it remains in compliance.
Yeah. You second? Okay, have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Amber Brown,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Julius Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. It is approved. That concludes the business that we have tonight. But I want to point out one thing to the board that we need to take a look at. We've got 4 hours that we have to, or that we need to, in-service type of 4 hours that we need to do before the end of the year. And one of the things that's come up has been this cell tower business. So many people don't understand that when they're bringing these cell towers, they're not needing, it may be out in a rural area, but it's not needed in that area. What's happening is capacity, not having enough capacity, and that's what they have to do to meet that capacity, because we have, of course, cell phones. Everybody's got a cell phone, but they're doing more screen times. The more shopping, grocery shopping is done that way. All these tablets and schools that are using this type of technology in order to meet academic standards, and that's why we're having to have all of the cell towers we have. Now, looking to the future, which is a long time after we're gone, it's probably going to be satellite instead of the cell towers. So it makes it really complicated that a lot of people don't understand. And I do want our board to understand what we're facing when we're looking at that. And so much of it has already been approved by the federal government, and we have very little things that we can do just to check and make sure it is. And we have that third person that looks into it, plus the staff that's looking into it. And these have always been ways that we have tried to meet the needs of the community and to educate them on what we're facing as a BZA. And the first question's already asked, well, if it's already pre-approved, why are you all looking at it? Well, the reason we look at it is to make sure it is meeting requirements, state requirements, federal requirements, and our local requirements. And we have two different groups that are looking at that independently to see that it is. So I'm going to ask our staff to at least in our training to have a little bit of this cell tower movement in it, whether it's by video or whether we actually get together, but just dedicate a little time to that. Jerry, do you want?
So often we do the training in December. Can we do something away from the holidays?
Well, actually, I forgot to mention in there because we kind of went late. The planning conference this year, the state TAPA planning conference, is being held in Franklin. And they offer a session for planning commissioner training and board of zoning appeals training. And we were hoping to have, I asked Doug today, I was like, had the times been set for that particular training so I can let the board know? It would be, I believe it's the beginning of October. And we would pay for the registration. The times have not been set, and when that agenda comes out, I was going to send each of you an email requesting to see if you're interested in attending, and that would knock out the 4 hours. And I know it's unfair to you to try to cram it all in at the holiday season's the worst time, and so that's what we're hoping to do for you if you're interested. And once I get that information, it might be this afternoon because he did go out to Franklin, and the agenda should be settled by now, and I can send that out to each of you, and that would take care of your yearly requirement. That being said, I can look to see if there's any kind of telecommunications tower training out there, and we can have another training session that would just focus on that.
Yeah, and that
subject.
Not only includes the emergency, but that includes the emergency. And when we have one, like yesterday, I don't know what you all received from your cell phone. I received messages about the storm coming through before it got here, during it, and after. You know, most of you got that, didn't you? So you got to have the capacity to do that, and they send it out to everybody. So those are the things that we're facing as a group and looking at it. Thank you very much for listening, and thank everybody for being here, and we are adjourned. Thank you.